when you hear things you can talk about, how does it affect you as a fan and media personality? Depends. You know what I mean? When I hear, Flo is going crazy through the building, it bothers me as a fan because I know that we're headed for another, mess and that kind of stuff. So yeah, but what am I going to do? And then when I hear that he didn't want Tua, and I'm telling everybody he didn't want Tua, and all that kind of stuff, and they didn't believe me until the rest of the media found out, and then I told them, no, I know who he wanted, and kudos to Omar, he's the one that ended up finding out that it was Jordan Love, and these are the things that when you find out, I knew Joe Philbin was going into the, complaining constantly. I knew about the bickering with Ireland and Sperano and Donna Ponte and all that crap and the mess that Parcells left us. Yeah, those maybe that's why sometimes when I'm pissed at the Dolphins and I'm like telling you how crappy things are or whatever, it's because I know more than the average person about what's going on inside the stinking building. And like when Saban, and I would tell people there's a red velvet rope around his door and how you have to walk around it and you can't walk in front of his door and all that kind of stuff and how you can't look him in the eye and stories that I told while and nobody would do that at QAM because obviously they're tied to the team, but um give a shit. So it's different. So yeah, that it affects me as a fan because I know the how dysfunctional, and then I know the damage that the dysfunction is doing. I know that Dave Wannstedt couldn't stand Mike Westhoff, and I knew Mike Westhoff couldn't stand Dave Wannstedt, and I know that he was inherited off of Jimmy and Shula, just like Mel Phillips was. But Mel got along with everybody. Mel was one of those guys, but Westhoff was a guy that would speak his piece. You may not like what he has to say, but he's going to tell you what's on his mind. And so those kind of things, and I know that you know I knew Tony Wise was part of, and I told a story once that Tony Wise walks into the room with all the assistants, and Dave Wannstedt's not in the room at the moment. And he looks at all the assistants. Well, no, first, he walks in and he starts drawing an island, and then he puts a couple of people on the island, and then he puts a bunch of little boats outside on the island. This shit happened, okay? This is Tony Wise. This is your offensive line coach. Best friends with Dave Wannstedt. Okay. So all the assistant coaches are there, including Mike Westhoff, part of those assistant coaches. And and they're all looking at him like, what's he drawing up there? So then he turns around and he goes, I'm on this island. And then it only shows two people. So it's him and Wannstedt. And he goes, you guys are all out here in the U-boats. You call that chemistry? So, when you find out about the stuff that's going on inside the building, and it's different. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that the people in the media that are share with me media credentials know about a lot of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think most of them have people inside the building. To be quite honest, to be absolutely honest, I would say most people in the media have nobody in the building that they can talk to. I have several. So, it's just different, man. And so yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. And maybe that's why over the years I'm rarely ever wrong about the Dolphins. You know? So it's just one of those deals. But I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't know things, and sometimes I have to, go by feel of whatever's going on, and usually I'll get it right. But I'm not always going to be right. Look, the Tyreek Hill, I was afraid of a game suspension. Remember, I told you I wouldn't be surprised, and I wasn't predicting a game, but I kept saying I would not be surprised if there was a game here. And there wasn't. So that was good, by the way. But I'm not always going to be right. But when it comes to like stuff that the Dolphins are doing, more often than not, I'm going to be right. And that's usually because I have a feel for what's actually going on inside the building. Okay. Like what I found out this week. That was very interesting. Very, 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 very opposite. Just remember that I told you something happening that's very opposite. One day, I can reveal what happened. One day, there'll be a time, there'll be a place. There always is. And it'll happen. But it won't affect it's not affecting anything with this season right now. That's all I can tell you. It has nothing to do with this season right now, at least. That's a good thing.